Most gardeners think pruning is something that can wait until spring fully arrives. The weather gets warmer, the garden starts waking up, and only then do people start thinking about trimming branches or shaping their plants. But by that time, in many cases, the most important pruning window has already passed. March is one of the most critical months in the gardening calendar across much of the United States. It is the moment when many plants are still partially dormant, but the growing season is about to explode into life. That short window gives gardeners a powerful opportunity to guide how plants will grow for the entire year. If you prune the right plants now, you encourage stronger growth, healthier branches, more flowers, and often a much better harvest. If you ignore them, the consequences may not show up immediately, but they often appear later in the summer when plants are weaker, overcrowded, or producing far less than they could. The truth is that pruning is not just about making plants look tidy. It is about directing energy. Every plant has a limited amount of energy stored from the previous season. When spring begins, that energy moves into new shoots, buds, and leaves. If a plant is filled with weak, dead, or overcrowded branches, much of that energy is wasted. But when you remove the right branches at the right time, the plant redirects its resources into the strongest and most productive growth. That is why experienced gardeners treat March like a strategic moment. Today we are going through 12 plants that you should prune in March if you live in the United States or in a similar temperate climate. These are plants commonly found in backyards, suburban landscapes, and home gardens. Some produce fruit, some produce flowers, and some simply shape the structure of the garden itself. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which plants deserve your attention right now before spring fully begins. Let's start with one of the most loved flowering shrubs in American gardens, hydrangeas. Hydrangeas are famous for their huge, colorful blooms that appear in summer and often last for weeks. But many gardeners are afraid to prune them because they are worried about cutting off the flower buds. The truth is that many popular varieties, especially panicle hydrangeas and smooth hydrangeas, actually bloom on new wood. That means the flowers grow on branches produced during the current season. Because of that, pruning them in March can actually lead to stronger stems and larger flower clusters. By removing weak stems and shortening older growth, you encourage the plant to push out vigorous new shoots that will support big blooms later in the summer. Without pruning, hydrangeas can become crowded, which reduces airflow and often leads to smaller flowers. Next are roses, one of the most classic garden plants in the United States. Roses benefit enormously from early spring pruning. After winter, rose bushes often contain dead wood, frost-damaged stems, and tangled branches that block sunlight and air circulation. If these branches remain, the plant wastes energy trying to support growth that will never become productive. Pruning roses in March helps reset the plant for the season. Gardeners typically remove dead or weak stems and shorten the strongest canes. This encourages the plant to produce powerful new growth that will carry the season's flowers. Roses pruned properly in early spring usually produce healthier foliage and far more blooms throughout summer. Another plant that benefits greatly from March pruning is the blueberry bush. Blueberries are extremely popular across North America, but many gardeners are disappointed with their harvests after a few years. One of the main reasons is that blueberry bushes naturally accumulate old wood. Older branches produce fewer berries, while younger branches are usually much more productive. By pruning blueberries in late winter or early spring, you remove some of the oldest stems and allow new, vigorous growth to take their place. This keeps the plant balanced and ensures consistent fruit production year after year. Grapevines are another plant that absolutely requires pruning before spring growth begins. Grapes are naturally aggressive climbers. If they are left alone, they will grow long, tangled vines with very little fruit production. The reason is simple. Grapevines produce fruit on new growth that emerges from one-year-old wood. When gardeners prune grapes in late winter or early spring, they control how many buds remain on the vine. Fewer buds mean the plant can focus its energy on producing stronger shoots and better grape clusters. Without pruning, the vine spreads energy across too many shoots, resulting in smaller and less flavorful fruit. Another shrub that should be pruned in March is the butterfly bush. This plant is famous for attracting butterflies, bees, and other pollinators during summer. But butterfly bushes can grow very tall and woody if they are not pruned regularly. Fortunately, they respond extremely well to aggressive pruning. Cutting them back in early spring encourages a flush of vigorous new stems. These new stems will produce long flower spikes later in the season, which means more color in the garden and more food for apple trees are another plant that benefits from late winter or early spring pruning. In many regions of the United States, apple trees are pruned while they are still dormant or just beginning to wake up from winter. The goal is to open the canopy so sunlight can reach the interior branches. When apple trees become too dense, air circulation drops and disease becomes more likely. Pruning removes crowded branches and helps shape the tree into a structure that supports better fruit production. Sunlight reaching the fruit is one of the most important factors for good flavor and proper ripening. Peach trees are another fruit tree that should be pruned around this time of year. Unlike some other fruit trees, peaches produce fruit on one-year-old wood. That means the branches that grew last season are the ones most likely to carry this year's fruit. If a peach tree is not pruned, it can become crowded with older branches that produce little or no fruit. Strategic pruning removes weak or unproductive wood and encourages the tree to maintain a steady supply of young, productive branches. Fig trees are also commonly pruned at the end of winter in many parts of the United States. Figs can grow into large spreading trees if they are left unshaped. By pruning them before the new growing season begins, gardeners can maintain a manageable structure and remove any branches that were damaged during winter. This helps the tree direct its energy toward healthy new growth and future fruit development. Lavender is another plant that benefits from early spring pruning. Many people grow lavender for its fragrance and beautiful purple flowers, but lavender can quickly become woody if it is neglected. When that happens, the plant produces fewer flowers and begins to lose its compact shape. Light pruning in early spring removes the old, woody tips and encourages fresh growth. That fresh growth is what produces the aromatic flowers that make lavender so popular in gardens and landscapes. Raspberries are also pruned around March in many climates. Raspberry plants produce canes that grow one year and fruit the next. After those canes produce fruit, they usually decline and should be removed. Pruning raspberries in late winter or early spring helps gardeners remove the old canes that have finished producing and thin out weaker new canes. This improves airflow, reduces disease risk, and ensures the plant's energy goes into the healthiest shoots that will produce the next harvest. Another extremely common landscape tree in the United States is the crepe myrtle, known for its vibrant summer flowers and beautiful bark. Crepe myrtles are often pruned during late winter or early spring, removing small interior branches, and shaping the tree helps maintain its elegant structure. Proper pruning encourages strong flowering stems and improves airflow through the canopy. Finally, ornamental grasses should be cut back before their new growth begins. Many ornamental grasses turn golden and dry during winter, creating beautiful texture in the landscape. But as spring approaches, those old blades need to be removed to make space for fresh green growth. Cutting them back in March allows the new shoots to emerge cleanly and grow without obstruction. As you can see, March is not just another month in the garden. It is a turning point in the growing season. Plants are transitioning from dormancy to active growth, and the decisions gardeners make during this brief period can shape the entire year ahead. Pruning now allows plants to focus their energy on strong, healthy growth rather than supporting weak or unnecessary branches. When summer arrives and your garden is filled with flowers, fruit, and vibrant foliage, much of that success will come from the careful work done during this early spring window. So, take some time to walk through your garden, observe each plant closely, and make those strategic cuts where they are needed. A few thoughtful minutes with pruning shears in March can lead to months of healthier growth, better harvests, and a garden that performs far beyond expectations.